Good afternoon and welcome to the Dumfries Icebowl in Dumfries. We are back again for the fourth draw of the Scottish Curling Junior Mixed Doubles Championships. This time, my name is Owen McCross and I'm joined once again by David Ramsey in the commentary box. And this time we get to see the defending champions in Ross White and Sophie Jackson, and that will be an all-family clash as Sophie will take on her sister Katie and her partner Hamish Gallagher. They are a local Dumfries pair. See here that Ross and Sophie have won the hammer, and Katie's first stone just ticked off. What do you think the key differences between these two teams is going to be today, David?
It's very interesting because White and Jackson obviously is the holders, one of our more experienced young mixed doubles pairs, very successful in their regular four-man teams, you know, two of our top young players, but they're playing two of our most promising up-and-coming youngsters in Sophie's sister Katie and Hamish Gallagher, who featured in the Scottish Junior Finals this year in a very young team. Yeah. So it's intriguing, and I know you chatted to them before the game because they've not had an awful lot of mixed doubles experience, Gallagher and Jackson, and it's interesting to hear what their comments were about finding the defensive side of the game harder, you know, because you can't hit early on, and how do you stay ahead. So we'll see how they cope with that.
Yeah, so I had a chat with both teams, and they said that they really enjoy mixed doubles. They think it's a really good format. They enjoy it. They get to do different things that maybe they wouldn't always get to do. Katie said that her favourite thing was she gets to sweep. Yeah. So
nice to hear a skip enjoying sweeping.
Yeah. So Katie, of course, this season skipped an under 17s and under 21s team, and she said that's her favourite thing. But yeah, they did admit that they do find it challenging tactically. They find it difficult to be defensive, and I think that's very honest. And I think a lot of teams probably would admit to that.
So just unfortunately they chipped with their first stone and just been a bit heavy and bounced off with their second yellow there. So Ross and Sophie are in a strong position now.
Absolutely.
They're putting a third one in, and they'll capitalise on this because they're not frightened to win this pair. They'll go for it. Yeah.
Well, they have played mixed doubles together now for 2 or 3 seasons. They, as you say, won the junior mixed doubles last season. They also have played in the Scottish mixed doubles for the past 3 years. They got to semi-finals. That was their best finish. So definitely, and as you say, they both have won the Scottish juniors as skips. Ross obviously this year, and made it.
Yeah, and both have world silvers.
Both have world silvers. And Sophie, of course, just back from North Bay, from Canada, where she's
for our ladies team.
She's fifth for Team Fleming.
She's had a really hectic season. And I know because I was working with them at Aberdeen, and that's when she got the call up to go to North Bay. So, you know, she just literally 40 hours after World Junior was off to the World Ladies, and she's still got her university dissertation to produce.
Yeah. So Sophie is she studies sports psychology at Stirling University. And we just see here Ross sliding, really nice slide and a positive release. Do enjoy this format. They'd said, although Sophie, did you hear about Sophie's travelling up to this event? It was slightly eventful. Sophie was enjoying a bit of a holiday in Blackpool, and drove down drove down in the car to Blackpool. Had a couple of days in Blackpool. Went to go home. Felt the pocket where the keys were. The keys weren't there. So, God bless Sophie's mum, she came down all the way to Blackpool with a spare set of keys, and she jumped to the car, drove up last night, and that was when she arrived. And do you think you know who's to blame for that?
How would I know who's to blame for that?
Someone who you know very well. Anyway, I'm losing track of the stones here already.
Ross played a really good come around top 8 there, so they've got a great lineup.
He did peel the guard, which I think they did need to do. Down to skip stones, it seems. Yeah, yellow have one left. think hitting that one on the wing isn't bad. Drawing in isn't bad either. It depends on how much pain you want to inflict in your opposition. This is the second game for both these pairs. Ross and Sophie got off to a win this morning. It's a tight port to navigate. We've seen them much at swings.
They're so aggressive, though, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of people would have gathered up there, but not him. No, we can get through that hole.
Well, there is a hit and check here.
There is.
To put them into trouble.
They have to play through the hole, but it's, you know, he's asked them, right, you follow that, and okay, you can get out of this with this, but man.
Let's have a look at the gap there. We'll just cut to the other.
He played unswept back 8 foot way to get through that hole. If they play perfect draw weight, they wreck on the top one, I think. Puts them in for 5.
Sophie's done some sweeping, so she's removing her top.
Looks like are they calling through the hole?
They must be. That's it. I'm not sure if this is there with the swing on this ice.
The port's staggered the wrong way, it makes it harder.
Yeah.
Mind you, it's home ice rink, so this is a big shot.
Yeah, big shot so early on. If she gets this wrong, it could be a hit for 6 even.
Well, if she could chip the blue in, they could be drawn. I'm not sure what the wing yellow's out counting, if anything.
See this.
If this chips this blue in, they're already line 5 and playing.
See, we'll just flick to the other view. Oh goodness. Now that didn't finish as I expected it to. Not sure what you thought.
Ross has got a hit for 6.
Is there a hit for 6 or is it split in a hit for 5 or a split for a draw for 5 or a split for 6? I think.
I don't know what the back yellow maybe kills the front blue, does it?
Yeah, I think it might. But I think they'd still be quite happy with a 5 to start.
Just missed their first 2 stones. What you pointed out.
Yep.
Yellow's missed their first 2 stones in a row. You're in deep doo-doo.
Unfortunately, I do have to admit that I have been in that situation, so that's how I know.
That's why you're so knowledgeable about it. Great to have an expert.
An expert in missing.
Expert in missing 2 in a row.
To be fair, in mixed doubles, I missed the first one. It was my partner that missed the second.
It's a team.
Yeah.
It's all about the team.
Ross is
Speak to somebody about
sweeping the stone in.
There's no I in team, but there is me.
Oh yes. Don't forget about me. And that's
it's a lovely
perfect
way.
draw.
It's just a lovely way, isn't it? Yeah, that's a big 5.
I suspect that is.
Now let's be interesting to see how Ross and Sophie now defend their 5 stone lead. See if we can learn ourselves something. So,
or will they defend?
what will they do?
Will they just go all in?
Maybe because it's not easy to defend, so you just play the same way. Try and get your stones in better positions.
It'll be interesting to see if we see an immediate power play from Jackson and Gallagher. I have seen that before. The CCT, I think the Latvian pair.
After losing a big end.
Yeah, the Latvian pair lost a big end in the first end to the Hungarians and immediately took their power play to try and get a footing in the game.
Well, you see, that's kind of comes back to what we were talking about. You feel with a power play you are likely to score.
Yep.
And hopefully more than 2. But we've seen teams score 4 easily without calling the power play.
Yep.
So it's not and it's how you were alluding to the fact you use it more as a defensive mechanism at the end of a game, because it's a much more controlled end that you're unlikely to lose a big end on.
And that's uncharacteristic. I wouldn't have expected that from Sophie, given how expertly she drew. But we've seen that actually in all 3 games that we've covered.
We have.
In the second end.
We have.
Weight has been
Seemed
deep.
to be a bit heavier.
And again, this team, both teams are playing without skips in the house.
In a sense, that stone where it is less damaging throw than a stone just back at the forefoot.
Yes.
But I mean, you don't deliberately air 8 feet long.
I certainly don't. Anyway.
So this could swing back to Gallagher and Jackson now if they can place this one.
This is interesting because Gallagher and Jackson are playing with the man in the bottom.
Now this might
and
work
they've
in
swapped,
their
actually. They've swapped immediately, and you can swap. This is the first time we've seen it, but it's a good illustration.
Right on the guard doesn't help. Although it causes Ross and Sophie now they have to make a decision now. They're going to have to draw around these.
Yep.
There's enough swing in this hand though.
Yeah. That's pretty excellent. Wait. Not quite sharp, but
Good
really
place.
restricts.
Good place. I think they have to move to centre.
Yeah. Yeah, they do have a corner that they can use.
Move the centre. Then you can get a shot on this blue, roll to corner. And Ross and Sophie have to decide how they're going to defend it.
Yeah, I asked every player what their favourite thing about playing mixed doubles was, and Ross said playing with Sophie. And I asked them what the most challenging aspect of playing mixed doubles was, and Ross said playing with Sophie.
There you go. Oh,
which I think gives a nice insight perhaps into their team.
Chip the yellow in.
Yeah, there is a double on. They can hit now. Half stone double. They're slightly thinner. It's thinner than half. Or would you even elect to play that?
I think he probably will hit the winger.
Yep.
Try and check right in even.
Looking from his slide, he seems to just...
And you can freeze the yellow too, which is a good shot.
Yeah. Maybe I'm thinking too defensively at the minute.
Yeah,
just restrict.
Ross's nature is to be very attacking. He loves drawing the forefoot.
Yep.
But this is heavy.
This is very heavy.
Yeah, that's big.
Right the way through.
Now how are they have to get rid of that blue.
Yeah. They're not going to with staggered guards at the front.
And I'm not quite sure what they tried to call. They maybe tried to call through the hole, the last one that chipped it in.
Yeah.
Just a wee bit high.
Let's see, Katie seems to be playing...
I mean, if you blast the guards, you're lying 2-second shots.
Not quite sure what the call is here. Are they going to scrape past the top of the
And
arm?
spins in.
No, it's a question.
The
There's
blue's
a piece.
available,
yeah,
maybe.
there is a piece.
And maybe on both hands too.
Yeah. Off that centre line, we've certainly seen enough finish for a hack weight chip.
The blue-yellow light-up could be redirected onto the blue. That's a genius of a shot.
seems that they may have just decided to go for the head here. I think that's certainly the one that I would call it. Now you see that Sophie is staying up here to hold the broom, and this is something that we'd heard from Adam Kerrin, and we've heard from others, that for a hit weight shot they do like a sweeper, but for a down weight shot they like to sweep, or they do like a broom, sorry, with a hit weight shot, whereas for a draw they do like a sweeper. Look here as it goes, and oh my goodness, he's lifted the triple. What a shot that is from Ross White.
Seen it so often this year, you know. He just loves a lot of stones in play. It's right up his alley.
Just to let you know that you can keep in touch with us. We are available on all our usual channels. We're also on Twitter at Scottish Curling. We've had some really lovely comments so far, and it's good to see how many people do appreciate the live streaming and the commentary they're providing. I think I'd given Rambo a vigorous talking to about the do's and don'ts of commentary. I don't know if that was any help to you, Rambo.
It's had no effect on me whatsoever. You're not the first person to try.
Absolutely. I think this is a really tough situation now for Hamish and Katie. I think they probably they could draw right around everything. They could draw to the back of the four. My only worry with that is that you might not. You might slip too far. They freeze, then you're facing a lot. So I would be tempted just to hit here, concede the fact that you're only going to score one, and just move on. Really, they are hitting, and they've cleared those out of the forefoot. I would expect that to see Sophie drawn around these two just off centre guards, the top of the four, and asking Hamish to follow. See Sophie indicating there exactly where she wants to go. We'll just flick to another view. We can see Sophie and Ross. It is actually Ross, not Choi from Korea, just in case anybody thinks there's doing some mistaken identity there. He does have a Korean jacket on, and it's obviously something he swapped from the World Juniors.
Interesting to watch Sophie's release. She's got an unusual release, especially on her in-turn. So just look at the stone position, compare that with other people.
See her in the hack. Seems to talk us through that, Rambo. To me, it looked like
it wasn't so clear there, but she almost has the stone at 90 degrees, handle, across her body, and then has a big elbow action to get rotation. Gets a lot of rotation, 5 or 6 rotations.
You can see that rotating a lot.
Which will run straight for a long time, but does finish. And she often takes less ice, and because she's so squaring it and so positive. And it's tough actually. Your team need to get really used to playing with you to do that, because the icing's different.
Yep.
And it's quite challenging. But they're familiar. I know she plays with Naomi all the time. Such a really successful junior record.
Yep.
Recently, and now moving on into British curling and performance development. So it'll be interesting to see if she continues with that style. It's a bit different from the rest of the squad, but she seems to make it work.
And what would you say to people who perhaps do have a slightly unconventional style? Do you think you need to be homogenised? Or do you think if you do the same thing every time, that's what matters?
I think we're trying to integrate a model that we can comfortably coach to our young players.
Does unfortunately slip past. He does take the back, so it is only a steal of one.
So just an answer to your question, we're trying to teach a consistent model, so our coaches are confident about what we're teaching, and this is coming down from Tony and British Curling to me and through the academy and to our grassroots coaches, and we're really trying to get a bit of coach development going and coach confidence going.
Yep.
But there's no, because we call it a model, that doesn't mean we expect everybody to slide exactly the same and look exactly the same, but there are certain principles we apply. But once you get to be an elite player or a very good player, you can have your own little personal touches, and release is a very personal thing. I think even grip on stone, even the set on the stone. I'm watching a lot of these young players. they don't have the conventional 10-2 set. A lot of them have the stone much straighter. And
see that positive release again from Sophie. There is a lot of rotation on that.
I don't know if we could hone in on that. You can see how square the stone is. So the stone's probably at 3 o'clock rather than at 12 o'clock. She makes some incredible shots. I mean, I went with them to World Bees last year, and then we went to the World Junior Finals, and she's some shot maker, I'll tell you. And she's very aggressive, and that combination with Ross is, I mean, they're really complimentary about that, because they both have a very aggressive style.
And for those watching at home who maybe aren't as familiar, what do you mean by an aggressive style?
Well, you tend to play draws more. You tend to have a lot more stones in play. You'll tend to play around centres into the forefoot. You know, you can mix the game up. You can play wide and aggressive too. But Ross is very comfortable with a lot of stones in play, and out angle, and then very happy to play the high hard one in and move things about. And if you watch some of the World Junior at Aberdeen, particularly the second game against Switzerland, he plays some extraordinary raised takeouts. And if you watch Grant Hardy's team now in the Scottish and in the Worlds, they're playing takeouts. I mean, they're playing raises from 2 feet over the hog line with tremendous accuracy. And Ross really enjoys that style of game. You know, I don't think it's any secret Ross gets bored with open play. And he and I've coached Ross as a head coach and a team coach, and we've had our disagreements about the best way to play the game. But man, he makes it work for himself.
Do you think that comes from mixed doubles, or do you think that lends itself?
No, I think it lends itself to mixed doubles, because he brought that from four-man team.
Yep.
But it really sets up well for mixed doubles. And I won't be at all surprised to see him play around centres for the rest of this game, even though he's 5 or 6 up. I don't think he'll be changing to try to clear the front. He'll back himself to outdraw you all day.
See the setup, and Sophie and Ross do have control of that forefoot area. Again, that wreck by Hamish does just put them in a difficult position.
Yeah, it's kind of like the last end. They've blocked up the front, and Ross is not going to worry about that. He's just going to wing in round, and Sophie will be right up for that too.
Surprised again we didn't see the power play. You know, 6 down, try and score a 2 or a 3. If you're 3 down, you're not out of it. You can start stealing ones.
He probably thinks he doesn't need to mix up. You know, they've got ahead doing this. And
Hamish.
Oh, Hamish they might have been advised to just change it.
Yep. Score. Get rid of the hammer almost, and get that first chance to get one into the house.
Because it does set up to steal, doesn't it?
One of the rules actually in mixed doubles that perhaps a lot of people might not be aware of is that it is lose and choose.
Yeah.
So if you do lose the end, you can choose whether or not you want hammer. So if you don't want the hammer, you don't have to have it. That's a pretty terrific raise there from Katie. I think I didn't actually see who played that one. I think it was Hamish, but I may have been wrong. So apologies for that. But they now are sitting one underneath cover. See if Ross,
it's accessible on the out-turn draw.
Sophie's coming back towards the house, so they might be playing.
They're having a look.
She's looking at the angles. Just
deciding which hand's best. Yeah,
and they're still deciding to draw.
There's a sign of a pair that are pretty mature at the game, that they've taken time to come out
and think
and
about
both
it.
Are used to skipping.
Yes.
So they both come down. They both understand what can happen at this end.
Do you think that has a detrimental effect on the
Well, we
sweeping?
had this discussion. What would you pick? Do you want to pick a front end player? Do you want to pick a top end player skip? Or do you want to pick 2 skips? Or what do you want to pick? And because you might sacrifice a little bit of sweeping experience for tactical experience.
Yeah.
And there's a good shot. And such good weight.
Yeah. Really terrific. I think it probably isn't shot, but it's really, really restricting the opponents. And
force of one.
Comes down to the end plan.
They like
we were
to
talking
have the
about.
hammer.
Yeah.
You know, they really do like to have the hammer, and they'll play aggressive.
Yeah. See, Katie, it was Katie that made that raise, so was a really nice result. But yeah, it is going to be tricky. I don't even think you could come through at a really hard weight through. I don't know if there is a hole. I think she is trying it. We'll just flick to this other view to see her.
Just paused on the release, just held the line.
Held a little.
Wasn't far away, but had to throw that weight to get through the hole.
Absolutely.
Just backed it up maybe a little, maybe slightly over ice, you know. Either way, it's the margin's tiny.
Yep.
Just didn't get swing.
It's a very, very tight port. So
tight port.
Not a bad result though.
No.
Opening it up a little.
And the fact that she's removed a guard.
Yep. It will be tricky, I think, for...
She's removed the right guard, actually, because it sets up better for the next shot.
Look at the front-on view here. You can see that it's quite tricky for them to get past that top blue. And, you know, because you need to get to the inside of this yellow. If you hit the yellow on the right-hand side as we look at it, it's always going into that blue. So you do need to try and get into the inside of it. And if you over-curl on the inside of it, then, of course, you may clip that... may clip that blue, and that's obviously not good either. Ross has just released the stone here. We'll see him come into view shortly. Sophie is sweeping this. Looking at, seemed to be calling some kind of a draw. And a freeze. He just cut to the other angle. What do you think of that result, David?
I think he's made it possible to move both. And also, if they corner freeze round that, I think he was just trying to force the one there with that.
Yeah.
And it's just maybe over curled a wee bit.
I think so.
There's a chance to come in and freeze your own and lie too.
Yeah, if you just tuck a piece behind the one at the top
behind
of your
the
foot,
top,
is that?
top,
Yeah.
exactly. You need to just scrape past it, and then you'll be on the inside of your own yellow. And if you come right up to your own yellow, you think you lie two, and then it's tough to move them.
Yeah.
So I think Ross would be trying to stay a little wider with his last.
Yeah. But even if you do that, you probably are lying one, maybe two. Ross and Sophie might put a guard on it and say,
I think take one.
On you go. Yeah.
No, this late in the end, he's probably not going to chase the score now. He's just going to say, no, you have your one.
Yeah, have your one, I'm happy with that.
And then he might, I don't know what he'll do. We're going to see if he would go power play.
Well, I think you would advocate that.
I would, if they force a one here and
Yep.
he's 6-1 up, I would advocate going power play.
And shut the game out.
And try and shut the game out.
You take a 3 or a 4, 10-1 up.
It's unlikely you'll lose.
Famous last words, of course.
Does he need to? I mean, he's already scored.
Yeah, plenty.
Maybe he just keeps the power play up
You
his
need
sleeve.
to just make sure this doesn't rack, which
That's
it
a really
hasn't.
good
That's
shot. It's just maybe a little hard.
And Sophie puts up a hand of recognition to her sister. I think that's really nice to see. Katie did admit it.
It's that soft side coming out. The Irish soft side.
I thought you were going to say the famous soft side for Sophie.
No, I was referring to you.
Yes. Well, no, I had a chat with Katie before the game. I had a chat with both of them, and Katie admitted it's quite difficult playing against her sister. I mean, she's obviously a very good player, which is the way. Sophie said there are challenges playing your sister as well. I mean, you have to stay focused and not let any of that kind of come
she
into
obviously supports her sister, wants to see her sister do well, but not just today.
Well, quite. Sophie said it's okay as long as I'm winning. Yes.
and
Which I think is honest.
I don't doubt Katie would say the same
thing.
Well,
yeah, absolutely. I think that's why it's quite difficult.
Yeah. Imagine being mum watching this though.
Oh.
Tough for mum,
Yeah.
because she's here, I spoke to her.
Cheering for good shots, I think. And that's a very good one that Katie
is yellow who's lying, Owen, do you think?
Oh, it's tricky. I think the one the blue at the back of the four definitely isn't shot. It'll be tough. We might get your favourite, get our umpires involved.
We've been blessed with a lot of measures today.
Well, we've only had, have we had 1, 2? We've had a lot of close ones though. I had that nibbler. I really wanted that nibbler.
We missed out, yeah.
They were looking at the hole to see if it was.
I know. Ollie Davis was trying to create a hole with his loops nice. With that hot finger.
Just have a look at the front on view that she has. That's not a lot that she can see. They're coming the intern, which I'm maybe a little bit surprised at. Seems to be curling early.
So this is the sweeping style that's become all the rage, you know,
Yes.
right behind the stone.
And legs open.
Yeah. That's it.
That hasn't.
That's just high.
Yeah, that's not really accomplished what they'd hoped for. I'm not sure if you could.
I think there's a shot. There's a shot. Blue, blue.
Yeah, blue, blue, blue.
Blue, blue, blue. Blue, blue, blue. The trouble is the blue locks, so you only get 2.
Okay,
but
so
if you're not lying 2 now, I think it's worth it.
So would you? So just to talk everyone through that at home, you would hit that blue that we see in the top of the 8 foot, just above Ross's head.
Just slightly.
About 11 o'clock.
Yeah, just left of centre.
Yep.
Take it slightly across the face of the blue.
Yep.
Drive it back onto the blue at the back of the 4 foot.
Yep,
They would
and
all
move
spin
that.
out, but the back yellow would be lost and leave you lying 2 yellows. The
See,
yellow
Hamish-
you play would still be in the rings. but
Hamish is
wouldn't count.
playing a draw. He's playing in some kind of a draw. So
I don't
maybe
know.
they are lying.
They
2.
may lie 1 already. They may lie 2. I don't know.
He may, if they were line 2, I would have suspected they would have come the other
To
way
try and get 3, yeah.
to try and get 3. So this may
Maybe
just be a
try
little tap.
Chip this in.
Yeah, needs
Chip
to
this-
curl a
chip
little bit.
Simming in.
Needs to curl a little bit, and here he comes, and that's a good shot.
Definitely 1.
Let's see. Oh, they're very helpfully not indicating what the score is. So we know for certain that it will be.
So, let's see what White and Jackson do.
Yep.
Do they go power play?
Let's see if they put the score up the board. It was a 2, so they were lying 1, and they just chipped that in for 2. I think that was a very good shot. Well done. They are reverting to the traditional setup, as we can see.
Yeah. Ross is really comfortable with playing round centres.
Absolutely. Just having a
So
look
Hamish
around
is
the,
leading off.
Having a look around the sheets. It is still early. Some early scores coming in. Bryce McMillan are 2-1 up against Maxwell. Adam Cairns stolen 1 against Moody in the first 10. We'll see how things go.
Pretty good. Yeah, it's just a little deep. Just a little deep, a little early, but
I think so. They need
it's
to
pretty good.
really. They need to be going quite hard for the steal here. So you would want it to be top 4. That's still usable. It's in a usable position. Sophie similarly just rubs off a little bit.
Yeah, just quite big rotation again, Sophie there. And runs pretty straight and probably a little further.
It's an opportunity here, and again this comes to what we were talking about.
Now, where do you think you go now then? You ignore the blues, you just try and freeze your top button.
Yeah, you want to come and freeze your yellow,
Top
and that
button.
gives
Yeah, exactly.
that does give them a chance. And this is what we were kind of talking about, that if they had taken that power play and they'd maybe scored. I mean, they did score 2, so that's good. They've got rid of the hammer. They've got 1 into the house. Sophie's just rubbed off, give them a little bit of a chance. If they come in, even if they come top 8 on this side, you know, they're kind of blocking off that side, taking control of it.
On the right hand, on the left hand
side
side
as we look at it, yeah. And then, you know, they could steal 1, they could steal,
Yeah.
you know, and then all of a sudden 6-3.
Yeah.
And on we go.
Line's good.
Does look
Line's
quite
good.
heavy.
Sit down.
It does look heavy, and Hamish was sweeping this for a lot of the way, so it was just slight misreading.
It's okay.
They are still sitting
But
1, but
it's
it's more in a
changed,
position to force than steal. we are going to have another special guest.
Are we?
At the second half.
Are you going to tell me who it is this time?
Would you like
or is
me
it
to?
a surprise?
Well, I'll give you a clue.
No, I think I was forewarned, and I'm actually
I'll give you a clue.
petrified. Why anyone would let this boy near a microphone, I have no idea. Mind you, somebody let me near a microphone,
Well,
so
yeah,
that was a rash decision.
Yes, it is. And for the viewers at home, we'll give you a little hint that it's a teammate of someone on the ice. Teammate of someone on the ice. That's the first clue.
Yeah, and it's a male teammate.
That's all we'll say for now.
Yeah.
Sophie's
running the risk of never being on air again.
And again, he's just slid off. I would say that at this point that
So
yellow or line one.
The steel's back on. So we've gone steel, force, steel, force, steel. It's great to have an end plan.
Well, I think.
No, I don't want to know what you think. I've made a statement.
You're quite right. You're quite right.
Could ask our special guest what he thinks.
They've changed. They've elected the other turn here. I'm not sure if that's personal preference or if there's something maybe they've noticed in the ice. If they roll off this blue, then they could be good. It is finishing now.
Again. It's full weight.
It's really,
again.
really heavy, but.
Oh, blimey. So now there's a double on. Oh, now there's a chance of a 4.
This is mixed doubles.
Yes.
The
It's growing on me.
But the end plans don't matter. Would you elect this double?
No, I wouldn't elect it now, actually.
No.
I'd put a blue in the middle.
Yeah.
Because then you can move both yellows.
Yeah. And then you might score a 4.
You
or
might.
6.
Well, so you could score a 4. So who needs a power play?
Well, we've seen 2 4s already in the last game.
Yep.
We've seen a 5 here.
They know how to create ends.
Yeah.
They know how to. They understand angles. This is
Ross
coming down.
here. Sophie's
If he sits on the edge of the yellow,
Yep.
both yellows become really vulnerable.
Yeah. Ross is now taking over the sweeping. Sophie's going to help now.
Very chauvinistic.
Really, really nice weight.
Absolutely perfect.
Perfect weight.
Pick that one out.
This is dangerous.
This is. What do you think that discussion's about?
Here we go.
Don't you ever take over the sweeping from me like that on camera again.
And Ross is saying, "Find him."
Ross is saying,
"Do you really think they noticed?" And Sophie said, "Absolutely."
"Oh, must be a measure on another sheet we're missing out."
Oh, we're missing a measure.
Disappointed. Blimey, what do you do if you're yellow now then?
Well, I think you have to freeze in.
But even if you freeze on top of that blue,
They can
they can smack the whole thing.
You guard?
You maybe have to.
Well, Ross
I mean, I know you're 4 down.
You're 4 down and you're guarding.
Ross is actually thinking, if I raise that long yellow.
Ross is thinking, if that yellow was 2 stones higher, I might raise it. It's too close.
He's got a shot of both hands to move.
He does.
To move both yellows.
He does. So that yellow, if he hits it on the right hand side as we look at it, the yellow will squirt out. The yellow on the left hand side will squirt out, and that will go. This is very dangerous.
Because if he hits the right hand side.
Here comes Katie's shot coming in now.
If this bounces
She's
open,
trying to
it's going
freeze.
bounce open. It's going to bounce open.
Oh goodness. Right. Now let's see what's he going to elect to play. But with that, now Sophie is in the way. She's really unhelpfully in the way. We really need to have a word with these players to shift.
He's looking at moving things.
I'm quite interested to see what happens.
Can't quite see.
Certainly interested. See, are they gesturing up for you, Rambo, for a timeout? Is that what's happening?
I would think they'd probably appreciate that advice.
Absolutely.
No, actually, they would just appreciate the time. So I've asked to walk very slowly.
Very slowly.
Very.
Well, you do know it doesn't make a difference.
It does make a difference.
No.
It doesn't make a difference. A timeout doesn't make a difference.
No, how slow you walk.
Oh, I slow walk. No, I know, but it just feels better.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I somewhat jokingly said to...
Of course, that's now we've got travel time.
Yes,
we didn't used to have travel time.
It used to be.
So the boys always used to tell me, just stand behind the door and make sure we get the maximum time.
Yeah.
It's a lack of respect, that, you know.
But I said to Neil and Alison that, oh goodness, nice drawing in here. When I coached at the World Mixed Doubles, that if I ever called the timeout, I would take my absolute precise time unzipping the jacket, one tooth by tooth, fold it nicely on the back of the chair, make sure it was all there, make sure I was fine, then slowly walk down the steps, making sure I wasn't tripping up. And
there's a lot of talk about the rules going forward and whether we should have timeouts or whether we should have coach interaction at the end of every end.
Yeah, and just do that.
And as they do in slams in Canada. And you know, we very fortunately had 2 young teams in the Norwegian Junior Curling Tour this year. And coaches can call a timeout